Welcome back to another week of Kadyr's Corner. We're going to talk about practice again. This time it's about batting practice. Different types of batting practice, different types of BP, different times of a season. We're going to cover all of batting practice. And I think the first thing I want to talk about is every time you step into a cage, whether it be a full cage with the nets or a half cage hitting on the field, have a reason for taking batting practice. Have a purpose for taking batting practice. You know, even if that purpose is the beginning of your training, you've just taken the winter off and you're starting to get back into the cage. You want to build some calluses on your hands. That's your purpose. Or, you want to go in there, you want to solely focus on your bottom half, your legs, or even more specific, the back leg. That's your purpose when you go in there and take those swings. Or you want to work on your bat path. That's your purpose. And the reason I say have a purpose is because you don't want to go into a cage just swing with no thought of why you're doing that. Number one, you'll get worn out. And number two, you'll start to develop bad habits because you won't have your sole focus on what you're trying to accomplish in the cage and for those particular swings. Also, when you have bad swings, if my whole goal is just to build up my calluses early in my getting ready for the season to start, I'm not so worried about how pretty or how good those swings felt because my goal is just strictly to get my hands back in shape to be able to grip that bat. So I've alleviated some of the pressure I put on myself to be perfect and to have every single thing right in my swing. If my goal is strictly to worry about my lower half, that's what I'm focusing on. I'm worrying about my lower half. I don't really care too much about what my hands are doing at that particular moment. There are times we're going to go into the cage and we're going to try and put it all together. That's the time to really make sure our mechanics are correct throughout the entire swing. But again, there's a purpose for that batting practice. That's probably the biggest thing that professional players and more specifically Major League Baseball players have over younger amateur players is majority of everything that they do is for a reason. Their routines, there's a reason why they've built that routine. There's a reason why that works for them is because majority of the time, the things that they're doing, there's a reason behind it and there's a purpose behind their training. They don't just train just to train. You don't just swing just to swing. You start developing bad habits and that's how ultimately you get injured when you're doing it day in and day out. As far as specific batting practice, before games, if you're lucky enough to have a turtle and you're hitting on the field, there's many different routines. You can find the routine that you feel like is best for your team. If you're a coach, you find out what's best for your routine. The routine that I had the most success with, that I did for myself individually, my first round, I tried to drive the ball to the right center gap as hard as I possibly could. I didn't just, kind of just get balls over and flip balls over to right field. I'd already done that in the cage, my routine prior to getting into batting practice. Batting practice, I only had about 25 swings. I wanted to make all those 25 swings count. So my first round of 5, I would try and drive the ball to the right center gap. Hit home runs to right center if I could. My next round was my situational round. Typically, I would do 2 hit and runs, 2 get them over from second to third base, 2 get them ins, 1 with the infield in, 1 with the infield back. And then I would take 1 or 2 swings. My next round was a round of 5. I'm just trying to hit the ball on the barrel. That's it. My next 2 or 3 rounds, I'm just trying to hit the ball as hard as I can with the ball on the barrel. My last round was usually my fun round. I try and play home run derby or try and hit as many balls and leave the yard and, kind of have some fun for the fans as well. So that's what I used to do. But again, I'm going back to have a purpose for what you're trying to accomplish when you step into that cage, no matter what cage it is and no matter whenever you're going to practice and take BP. Hit me up, #USAB mailbag. I'd love to hear from you. Questions, comments, and concerns. And until next time, play hard, dream big.